So many of you have asked me if fasting is hard, and in today's video, I'm going to tell you my experience with fasting. All right, we are talking about how hard fasting really is. Now, in my opinion, it can be very easy, but if you are not prepared for it, you can battle the whole time you are fasting. I've experienced both. I've experienced fasting that was incredibly difficult and it only lasted for 14 days, so 2 weeks. And I have experienced a fasting period of 6 weeks that just flew by. And it all depended on how I was prepared for it. But first of all, I would like to tell you how I started. Now, you have to understand something about me. I am a planner. I like to plan everything. I like to be prepared to what I am dealing with and what I'm going to be dealing with. And I like to research things. I have post-it notes all over my books, all over my notebooks, all over the wall. If I am really going to do something that is going to potentially change my life, I like to be prepared. But this was not exactly true when it comes to fasting, even though it did change my life profoundly. What I'm talking about, I started fasting on a dare. And there were emotions involved, huge emotions. I was angry because nobody believed me that I could do it. So it took none of the post-it notes, it took none of the research. The only thing that I did know was that it lasted for 21 days or 42 days, depending on what you would like to fix. In my case, it was weight loss. And the second thing that I knew is that you don't eat anything in those days when you are fasting. To this day, I am using Broy's fasting method, which is juice fasting. I knew from my grandfather's experience that you are never hungry when fasting. So I had weight issues all of my life. I never had an enormous amount of excess weight, but it was enough for the kids in school to make fun of me, and it was enough for my thighs to rub together and then get, bloody blisters if I was wearing shorts. So no shorts for me and no skirts in the summer because it was hot and it was not good for my thighs. And this was basically it. I saw the dramatic weight loss that my grandfather experienced in his 42-day fast, and I said I could do it also. But nobody believed me, not my mother, not my grandfather, not my grandmother, not even my friends. So I was so angry that it took me 2 days to get all of the teas together that are needed in this Royce fasting method, and to get the vegetables that I needed and a juicer so I could squeeze my own fresh vegetable juice for the fasting. And that was it. In 2 days, I was on a fast. I had extremely bad headache for 3 days because I was detoxifying from sugar addiction. But then it just flew by, and on day 18th, I decided that's enough. I don't know why I didn't last for the entire half of the program, which is 3 weeks. But I was 18 years old and I did it for 18 days, and it was incredible. And I was hooked. So, is fasting hard? Yes. Why? Because when then the few years went by and I decided to fast again because I gained weight again. And this time it was not on a dare, because I convinced all of the people around me that I could do it. And I just said, it was easy the first time, why not do it again? And it's going to be easy again, and I'm going to lose those 10 kilograms in 3 weeks. Why not? But this was incredibly difficult. Why? Because, first of all, I was in college and I was stressed about the exams. I kept thinking about what I have to do, and I didn't listen to my body, and I couldn't get rid of cravings. And I had an enormous amount of bad days. So I think that I quit after 5 or 6 days. So my second fasting, I think it was a second fasting, was extremely, extremely hard. But then I can tell you one of the fasting that just flew by. It was the fasting of 42 days. And this was the fasting that I was waiting for 7 months. Why 7 months? Because I just gave birth to my second son and I was breastfeeding him. And I didn't dare to fast when I was breastfeeding, because your body already is changing its energy source from food source to your fat stores and your muscle stores. And also some of the nutrients do get lost even with this Royce fasting method. And my nutrients were already depleted by breastfeeding my child. So I had to wait until he stopped breastfeeding, and it was about 3 months after that I decided, okay, now I am strong enough to survive this prolonged fasting. And I felt so bad. I was emotionally drained. I was tired from staying up at night, but I was certain that fasting is going to fix it. So I decided to do the full fasting term of this Royce fasting method, which is 42 days. And since I was wishing to start for 7 or 9 months, I am not sure, it just flew by. I was so happy that I didn't have to eat and I'm finally fasting, that I felt better. There were almost no bad days, that I listened to my body. I was at home with my son because in Slovenia we have 1 year of maternity leave. So I was fasting before I went to work back from my maternity leave, and it was incredible. I felt great. I dropped, I think that 12 kilograms in those 42 days of excess body weight that I accumulated over the pregnancy time. And I was feeling much better because I was not bloated anymore. I was not my back wasn't hurting anymore because of the massages that I started to take. And I was not, my joints were not swollen, so I could move my joints and move my elbows and my knees and my ankles. So it was a very, very beautiful experience of that time. And I remember I had one more easy fasting period, and that was 2 years ago when I did it when I was on, let's say, sick leave from being exhausted. I was exhausted from work from stress, and I was on sick leave for 8 months. And at the end of those 8 months, when I was still at home, I did another cleansing with the fast, and it was great. I felt beautiful. I was listening to my body. When I was tired, I rested. When I was energized, I worked. It was incredible. So this is the kind of experience that I want to have every year. But I have managed to have only 2 times in my 28 years experience. So to keep this film short, yes, fasting is incredibly hard. But if you are mentally prepared for it, or if there are strong emotions behind why you want to fast, it will not be difficult. You will know why you're fasting. You won't have any big issues with cravings, because the reason why you are doing it is going to be so strong that you will forget that you're not eating. So yeah, my advice, if you are thinking about fasting and your biggest worry is that it's going to be too hard, is write down why you want to do it and start being excited for fasting. Because if you are excited for it, this is going to be something new. I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to prove to the people around me that I can do it. It's going to be easy. Believe me, I've tried it. So I hope that this video was motivation enough for you to at least give it, some thought about giving prolonged fasting a go. But if you're still thinking about it, and maybe if you are like me and you are a planner, I have made a video series about the benefits of fasting that you can go through and see if any of them sounds good to you. Maybe you will get that one step closer to trying your own prolonged fasting journey in the months or days that are coming. So thank you for your time, thank you for your patience, and I hope to see you again in the next video.